If you're selling your home in Halifax in 2024, then it's important that your expectations are in line with reality. So, over the last few years in the Halifax real estate market, we've seen incredible increases to the average home price of about 15% in 2020, 26% in 2021, 16% in 2022, and then back to a much more modest 2.6% in 2023. But does that mean we should be expecting a huge increase again in 2024? Well, that's a great question. So today I'm going to talk about my expectations for the 2024 Halifax real estate market from the seller perspective. So if you're on the fence about selling your home this year and you're not sure what to expect, make sure you keep watching until the end. Now, just before I get into it, if you're new here, my name's Andrew Stevens, and I've been a realtor in Halifax for 9.5 years. And if you want to be educated on the Halifax real estate market, then this is the channel for you. So hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And if you're thinking about selling your home in 2024, or if you want to know what your home might be worth in this market, you can reach out to me anytime in the Calendly link below in my description at a time when it's convenient for you. Depending on what type of home you have, what kind of price point you're in, and what neighborhood you're in, you may have a very different experience selling your home. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't really understand about the real estate market, and they're seeing the headlines in the news, and they're seeing, some of it's grim and some of it's positive. I mean, how could it be that your home has been sitting on the market for 5 or 6 months without an offer, yet on Monday morning you go into work and a coworker is jumping for joy because they had 7 offers on their property over a weekend and they just put their home on the market the Friday before you left work? Well, that's really because there's 2 different sections in the market right now. On one hand, if you're over $750,000, this price range in HRM as a whole is in more of a buyer's market. We're sitting around 7.5 months of listing inventory. Homes in this price point are sitting on the market a lot longer. There's much more demand at the lower price point. So again, this is a buyer's market. Your home's going to sit a little bit longer, and you're likely not going to get a multiple offer situation. Obviously, very neighborhood dependent. For example, a $750,000 home in the south end of Halifax might get multiple offers because in that neighborhood in particular, that would be sort of a home on the cheaper end of what the price points look like in that area. On the flip side, in the under $750,000 range, we're in a seller's market right now, somewhere around 2 or 2.5 months of listing inventory throughout the HRM, which is very low. So in this price point, in HRM as a whole, we have a lot more demand than the supply that we currently have. This is why a lot of homes in this price range are selling over the asking price with bidding wars, because there's way more people looking for homes in this price range than the homes that are currently listed. And an even more extreme version of this is the under $500,000 range. In this range, again, we're obviously in a seller's market. There's very little inventory in this range. We're sitting right around 1 month, which if you can remember back to when the market was off the rails in 2021 and especially in early 2022, this is give or take where the inventory was for all of HRM at that time, when we were seeing a ton of multiple offers and sales going over the asking price by, $50,000, $100,000, or $150,000 over the asking price. So in this range, that's really what I would expect, not necessarily those numbers, but I would expect in most cases throughout the HRM, if you're under $500,000, especially for any type of single family home, whether it's a semi or detached, you're probably going to end up getting a ton of activity on your listing, and you're very likely to get multiple offers, hopefully pushing that price up over the asking price. In 2023 in HRM, we were still seeing a lot of competing offer situations. So last year, about 44% of the homes that sold for over the asking price by about an average of $31,000 over the asking price. Now going into 2024, in general, I would expect this trend to continue, but a big part of that will depend on what happens with the interest rates going forward and also what happens with the listing strategy going forward. And if sellers are going to list aggressive on the low end to try to spark those bidding wars, or if they're going to start listing a little bit higher towards kind of market value and where we actually think the property is worth. So for example, if somebody thinks their property is worth $520,000, a big thing that's going to affect this stat is, are they choosing to list at $499,900 and to hold offers over, say, a 4 or 5 day period? Or are they listing at maybe $529,900 or $525,000 and waiting it out and just saying first come, first serve, and then people come in and write the offer whenever they are ready? Now, in terms of where I see the year going in 2024, I believe the interest rates are going to start falling at some point. When that is, I'm not 100% sure, and nobody is. But the general consensus of most economists and most people in the real estate industry is that rates are going to start coming down. I believe this will start happening with the overnight lending rate and also the bond yields as well. So, both variable rates and fixed rates. I believe once this starts happening, that the buyer confidence will grow. A lot of buyers will get off the fence and come back into the market and start looking again, which will increase buyer demand and therefore, in turn, will likely have an upward pressure on home prices throughout the HRM. So, in general, in 2024, I believe it will get stronger as the year goes on, and I believe more and more buyers will come back into the market looking to purchase a home. So, should you sell now or should you wait? Well, that's a good question. And from my perspective, it really depends on your overall situation. If you're selling a home in a competitive price point, let's say under $750,000, especially if you're even lower than that, then I would say any time at this point is a good time to list your property. If you're selling a home over the $750,000 price point, it may make sense to wait out your listing and hold on until the midway point or the third quarter of 2024. Again, depending on what happens with rates, because I think that when the rates come down, it's going to increase the buyer power, which should help out these higher price points in terms of the activity you're going to see on these types of higher priced listings. If you're selling a home in a competitive neighborhood or a really hot market area, I would suggest that pretty much any time is a good time, assuming you're listing at the price that you feel is the current market value. If you're selling a home in a competitive price point, let's say especially around the $500,000 or $600,000 range, and then you're planning on upsizing to something that's more expensive, then I would say that it is a good time to do so. And the reason is because these lower price ranges, anything under especially $500,000 or $600,000, are still extremely hot. And if you're buying something for, let's say, $700,000 or $800,000, that market is a lot cooler. So it gives you a good opportunity to get a great price for your property currently, and then get a kind of better deal and be able to negotiate a little bit more on the home that you're buying that's at that higher purchase price. Regardless of what type of home you're selling and what time of year it is or what kind of price point it's in, I would highly recommend that if you're selling a home in 2024, that you hire a realtor and you do an MLS listing to get full exposure. And you should be thinking about things like the first impression. You only get one chance to make this first impression. So you should be focused on things like staging, professional pictures, professional video, features of the neighborhood, and so on. You want to make sure that when potential buyers are pulling up their phone to scroll on Viewpoint or realtor.ca, that you make a good first impression and you get lots of people in to view your home. And the more people you get in to view your home, the better chance that you're going to have a bidding war on your property. Now, if you have any questions about selling a home in Halifax, or if you're curious to hear about what your home may be worth, you can book a seller consultation with me anytime through the Calendly link below in my description at a time when it's convenient for you. And if you're still here watching and you got any value out of this video, all I ask is that you hit that like button and you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss my future content. And that'll help push this out to more people like you who may be interested in seeing videos about the Halifax real estate market. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and have a great day.